Hello, everyone. I trust that you are very fine. Welcome to this YouTube channel. And if you have ever been following these videos and you have liked them, why don't you also remember to subscribe? I'm doing this video regarding the item that is on your screen. You can see we have got a document there. In a computer studies subject, there is always a requirement that you are supposed to sit for a final paper called Computer Project 451/3, and it is normally submitted in form of a write-up which you create in Microsoft Word, and you also submit a system which you create in Microsoft Kcse most of the times, but of course things keep changing. So I've just landed to a document which was done back in the year 2020, and I've decided to use it to answer a question or several questions that have been raised about how to create this paper, how to create this write-up. So this is somebody's work, and of course with consent, but the person's name is disguised, and also the index number in the school, the institution. There is no relationship between what you are seeing and the person and the school. And it is actually a paper that was done in the previous years, and therefore we are not risking to kind of give you a clue of what you should be doing your current year's project. But however, I want to respond to a question like, how do I create a table of contents? Number 2, how do I create a table of figures or a table of tables? Number 3, I've been trying to format my document to have Roman numbers for the preliminary pages and the normal ordinary numbers 1, 2, 3 for the subsequent pages after the preliminary pages. So I'll be handling those things, and I'll also be mentioning a few things about many mistakes that students do, especially when they are doing the write-up. Right now, I'm on the very top page, which we normally refer to as the cover page of your write-up. And as you can see, the student here, of course, it is capturing all the details that the examiner may want to see, the year, the title of the project, the name of the student, and then the index number. But if you look at it closely, there is something is lacking. Like, we just ask ourselves, why should the learner, why should they have inserted something like a header on the title page, yet it is the cover page? Then is the page itself, is it properly utilized? If I zoom out, you notice this being an A4 paper size, the cover pages are here, the very first one. You notice that there is a lot of space that has been wasted. So that is something that we need to be cautious about, that when it is the cover page, why don't we make it a bit appealing? Why don't we make it a bit very, like well utilized? So like what I could have done, if I were this student, I could have probably increased the line spacing or the paragraph spacing to something like 3, so that I'm able to utilize more of the page. Then there's no harm about bolding some of these things. I can choose to bold. I can choose to bold the headings, or rather the entries that I want the examiner to note. Then after formatting that, another thing I could have done is, for instance, for proper alignment of every label and what it is describing, the description after every label, like what we have at the title and then what we have after name, what I can do is to create a tab stop. Say, for example, at place called 1, at 1 there, I create a tab stop. For what? So that I come here, and remember I have done that when the text was highlighted for uniformity, and then I come and now press tab between title and further youth group, and then between Suleiman and the name, I press tab. So you can now see the entries after the labels are now somehow looking, they are looking more, much better. They are looking much better compared to what the student had done there previously. Okay, so that is one thing that I should have, I wanted to mention about when you are formatting this write-up. Don't you be just so much in a hurry, like you just want to complete, you are not checking how the items are appearing. Remember, the examiner is also human. They know good work. They know when the work is not good. Okay. So I'll be answering the question about how to eliminate the header and the footer on the cover page as we progress. As we progress, I'll be remembering to do that. So I have centered this this phrase that many students always like putting it. There's no harm. It's okay to have it. It's a declaration that this project has been submitted in partial fulfillment to whatever examination that you are handling. Right. Now, let's now prepare ourselves for the table of contents. Guys, you realize that a table of contents should be inserted automatically. Actually, the thing that caused me to feel that it's important to go through the table of contents is because I have looked at several write-ups and I have seen like there are those of us who type the table of contents. Woe unto you. It is not typed. You waste a lot of time. And then again, if you happened to reorganize your pages, you will require again to keep track and go to the table of contents which you typed and then keep editing the page numbers because of any adjustment that you might do to your document thereafter. And then a table of content which is typed appears weird and funny. So what do we do? That question is easily answered because step one is format the heading levels. Format the heading levels appropriately. So you must go through the whole write-up, formatting the heading levels. Like now, dedication, which I'm seeing here, is a heading, but I'll call it a title. I'll call it a title. Then I'll go checking, is there any other heading? Yes, I can see there is a declaration. Students like to have a declaration, so I format it as a title as well. Then I go to another place, another heading, chapter 1, which is broken from what it is about. I'll call the chapter 1 a title, and the introduction part, I'll call it a heading 1. Then the student goes ahead to put yet another subheading underneath there. I don't know whether it was necessary, but let me call this subheading of introduction. I want to refer to it as a heading 2. Then I go checking the headings that we have in the document. Now, what is this? Another mess. These are the things that I said that students don't do right. Another mess is here. Guys, you can see from where we have ended chapter 1, which was introduction, this student did something called pressing enter to create a page break. So you can see from the place where we are coming from page 1, from chapter 1 rather, to get into chapter 2, there are these extra spaces. So what could have caused them is that, for instance, if she had not formatted the line spacing initially, you can see she has used either 1.5. I believe this is 1.5 line spacing. If she had not formatted the line spacing initially and then later remembered, oh, the line spacing was supposed to be 1.5. So what she did is just quickly formatted the line spacing for the first chapter, and there she found herself in a mess, because for her to create the page break, or rather the page for her to start, for this student to start on chapter 2 on a new page, what she did is pressing enter. This can be evidenced by activating the paragraph marks on the home ribbon. There is that icon which looks like an inverted P, a refracted P. Show or hide paragraph marks. They show you Where did I press enter? Where did I press space? Where did I press whatever? Where do I have a page break? And so on. So like now you can see, to come from chapter 1, this symbol now is representing areas or incidences where the student pressed enter. So I want to eliminate them. So I'll just go alongside, on the left of the first entry of enter, the first occurrence of enter, press delete, 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 delete. You can see it's like we have done correctly now. Chapter 2 is starting in the right place. But no, I want it to first get to where my cursor is at, right? I have pulled it up, and then I use the correct method of creating a page break. So to create a page break, kawaida, you go to layout. So don't worry about the kawaida thing. It's another language. So layout and then breaks, and then we create an ordinary page break. I'm using version 2016 of Microsoft Word. You go to layout, breaks, and then page break. So with the paragraph marks being active, now you can see there is a page break here. So even if the student could have added some more information and or reduced the information, there's no way that chapter 2 would find itself crossing over to appear in this page 1 of the write-up. Okay? So that's something that I want you to note, that don't press enter to begin new pages. Instead, do what? Insert a page break. Insert a page break. That way, you'll always find your write-up being very well organized. Then chapter 2, we format it. It's a heading. I call it a title. Problem definition, I call it a heading 1. I check it has got demerits of the existing system. Call it a heading 2. If it is a heading which is appearing under problem definition. Then I go down, down, down. Aims of the proposed system. There is something that like that, and then I call it a heading 2. Merits, a heading 2 as well. I'm assuming these are subheadings under problem definition. Under problem definition. So you see again the occurrence of pressing enter, enter, enter to go to a new page is again betraying this learner here. It's betraying the student. So I'm going to create a page break there, layout, and then breaks, and then page break. So chapter 3 has to begin on its own page. Chapter 3 has to begin on its own page because it is a section that we are beginning there. So I go to title for the chapter 3 analysis, heading 1. Heading 1, and then after that, observation, I may say it's a heading 2. Has she talked about the methods of data correction, collection? I don't know. Questionnaire, whatever. Again, see, pressing enter so many times. Here, she had remembered, or they had remembered to put a page break, followed by another page break, followed by so many enters. So let's see what could have this meant. Feasibility study follows, I undo. Feasibility study, I'm not finding it like there is a necessity for us to begin a new page. The computer should know how to handle it. If we have a heading and then the heading has got only one line below it, then there should be a way that it is able to treat that widow or an orphan. Remember what widows and orphans are in relation to word processing. So I call this, let me call it a heading 2. And then I go down. This is a heading. It's a subheading under feasibility study. And because feasibility study is a heading 2, I'll call this one a heading 3. Technical feasibility, heading 3. Operational feasibility, a heading 3. And so on, and so on, and so on. So I'm assuming that I'll have to go through the whole the whole write-up, doing all those modifications, and then after doing all those modifications, then I'm going to show you how do you then insert a table of contents. This is chapter 3, which I want to have on a brand new page. And then because of consistency, I have seen chapter 3. The student is having it in isolation. Chapter 3, we are calling it a title. And then the system design part, I call it a heading 1. On and on and on, I continue like that, formatting the document mpaka mwisho, or up to the end of it. So after doing so, then I choose where would I like to have my table of contents. Where would I love to have my table of contents? Some people feel like immediately after the cover page is okay, or immediately after the preliminary pages, that's the best place, whichever. So let me have it immediately after the cover page. I want to insert the table of contents there. So what I have done is that I have created a blank page where I will create the table of contents. So I am on this new page here, and I want now to insert the table of contents. Let us type it, table of contents. Then, how do we insert it? We insert it by going to references, because the headings are already formatted. I said we do not type a table of contents, but instead we generate automatically. So after formatting the headings, which was step 1, now step 2 is to go to reference, create a page where you want to have the table of contents. That's step 2, and then give it a title if you wish to. And then after that, step 3, you go to references menu, go to table of contents, and then choose either one of the predefined table of contents, or you choose custom table of contents. So I'll choose custom so that we can be able to accommodate new entries. The existing entries for this table of contents that I'm just about to capture will have a heading 1, a heading 2, and a heading 3. But you notice in the way that I have formatted my document, I have also created another entry that I'm calling title, which is using a style called title. So I would like to incorporate in this table of contents anything that is called title, anything called heading 1, and anything called heading 2 and heading 3. So 4 heading styles. So to add a new style, what do? I go to options. Then you get a list of the existing options, and ordinarily heading levels will be assigned automatically. There is that heading 1, there is the heading 2, there is the heading 3, and then we want to incorporate another one called a title. So title is a new level that I want to have, a new heading that I want to have. And why it will not be appearing is because there's no entry that I have created at the TOC level. So to make it appear, I must give it a level. I want it to be having a similar format as like the heading 1. And therefore I have used heading level, TOC level 1, which is the same thing that I have done, or which was done by the computer for heading 1. So we have heading 1 here, taking TOC level 1, and then title also taking level 1. And then we click OK. And then if you want to adjust things like tab leaders, to have any other type of leader, but of course you use what other people use, the ... is the best. And then I click on OK. So there it is. So there were some other areas after where we had reached. There were those other places which had been earlier formatted. Remember what we have formatted was what was appearing on with the preliminary pages. So this we used a title format, and then a title format, a heading one, and so on. So you can see the table of content will appear automatically when you have done the correct formats, when you have done the correct heading styles. Very good. Then how do you insert page numbers? Bearing in mind, you've got page numbers for the preliminary section and the page numbers for the other pages now, the main chapters. Okay? So inserting Roman numbers, for example, for the preliminary numbers. So I can see in this write-up, it's like the guy was able to do some Roman numbers for the dedication page, for the declaration page, and then page 1. So let's see, how do you do that? How do you do that? It's about creating a boundary between the preliminary pages and the pages that follow the preliminary pages. And how do you do that is simple. Like when I check again, the demarcation between this section, like now the preliminary pages are ending with the declaration page, so that ushers us into chapter 1. So for me now to create a demarcation between these two, this is what I'm going to do, assuming that there was just a connected, a flow of chapter 1 immediately from the preliminary page called the declaration. And then I first check whether we have got any mark that is showing that there is a division. So between declaration page and chapter 1, what I'm going to insert is another type of a page break. I go to layout and then choose breaks. And then the type of break that I want to have is a break that will take me either to the next page or to an odd page. If you were creating a textbook and not just an ordinary write-up, you could have used odd page, because every chapter, most of the times, we will start reading it from the page on the right side. Odd pages will many times when printing, you'll find odd pages appearing on pages on the right side, on your right hand side. So that is when you would have chosen to insert an odd page. But this time I want to create a section break starting on the next page. Okay. So with paragraph marks being on, you are able to notice that at the end of what we had selected in the preliminary pages, now we have created a section break. We have created a section break. Okay? We have created a section break. So we are again making another assumption that this document did not have page numbers. And if there were, they were not done correctly. So what we do now, after creating a boundary between preliminary pages and the subsequent chapters, then after that it is to format page numbers. So I'll go to insert, then I look quickly for page numbers option, insert page numbers, and then I am in the preliminary section. This time I am in the preliminary section, and then insert page number, and then we first format page numbers. We format page numbers. We tell the computer, use number formats which are starting with Roman numbers. Roman numbers. Okay? Number format, Roman numbers. And then where do you begin? Roman I. Start at Roman I. And then I choose OK. Right? And because the owner of the document had already created page numbers, you can see I already have a Roman 3 on the page which I am currently working in. But if the page numbers were not inserted, after formatting, then you could have come here again on a page number, and then you tell the computer, or Microsoft Word rather, where do you want the page number to appear? Is it at the bottom of the page? Is it at the top of the page? Where do you want? So you could have kind of repeated checking this menu 2 times. The first time, formatting page numbers, and then the second time is to indicate where do you want to have the page number being placed. Okay, so we are done with the preliminary pages. They are all having Roman numbers. Then I go to the subsequent chapters. Now the main chapters, the pages with the chapter headings and so on. Once more, I go to insert menu, and then I choose page number, and then I tell the computer format page numbers. To take what form? If I don't like the current form, I can choose a different form altogether. And then don't forget the start at. The start at might be indicating something like 5, like 6, or something different. So you spin that value, or you change it to indicate the first chapter must be beginning at page 1. And then don't make a mistake of saying continue from the previous section. Okay? Continue from the previous section will mean something different. So we click on OK, and then we go once more to insert page number. Now, to cause the page numbers to appear at the bottom of the page, I want them to appear on the accent bar, left side, indicating page, and so on. So there, I've got my page number appearing. I've got my page number appearing, right? So if you don't like the word page, because you are already inserted into the footer section, you can erase this. You can erase the word page, it's a footer, and then you can add your own custom footer. Further, youth group, further youth group, like so. So guys, that's how you can be able to create page numbers which differ from from Roman numbers for the preliminary pages, and then to the ordinary numbers that we normally use 1, 2, 3 for the other subsequent pages. And then having done that, what else do you need to do? Get into the table of contents. Get into the table of contents. Press the key F9, function key F9, so that you are able to update the page numbers only. You update the page numbers only. So if there was any mismatching page number, then it is normally automatically adjusted. It will be automatically adjusted by Microsoft Word. So that is one thing that I wanted to mention. We have so far covered how do you create a table of contents, then how do you create a section break so that you are able to have Roman numbers for the preliminary pages and the form of numbers for the subsequent pages. So far we have tackled that. The other item that I would like also to mention is a write-up which has got diagrams, has tables, has figures, has those things that we normally are requested to create. How do you make them to have a table of figures and a table of tables? A table of figures and a table of tables. Very easy. I have a table on a certain page. I'm in page 10 and there is a table. And I can see the student did not remember to do what I'm just going to explain. For you to create a table of figures, you must always remember to add captions to figures and also to tables. So how do you achieve that? Right click the table, the compass which normally allows us to select a full table. You can right click it so that you choose insert caption. Then the caption window will appear, but there is an already predefined caption label which you change. If it's a table, of course you change it and call it a table, and then after the table entry number, like table 1 has been generated automatically. Don't interfere with it. Only probably add a colon and then ask yourself, what is this? What is this table about? You may give it a small heading description like economic feasibility, economic feasibility table. Okay, if you like it, economic feasibility. I believe that is enough. And then you notice that the caption will appear there, like mine now is appearing at the bottom, the caption of the table. So you keep scrolling through your document. I can see there is a system flowchart. A student was able to draw a system flowchart. And then again, don't forget to be grouping your items. When I say grouping, make sure that if it is a drawing, draw it inside a drawing canvas. Draw it inside a drawing canvas. That way you'll be able to handle it very, very easily. When you want to copy it, when you want to move it, it will be very easy to handle it. So I want to insert a canvas for this system flowchart. Now, the previous caption label is what you'll see, but you can change the label to what it is to another label. We normally have 3 types of labels: equation, figure, and table. So this is a figure. I call it figure 1. You know, the computer has generated for me 1. So I type a colon there alongside and then have system flowchart. System flowchart is the caption. Then I choose OK. Go ahead. Another table. This is file or input design. Is it input design or tables design? I right click the table, you know, the table selection icon, then insert caption. This is not a figure, it is a what? It is a table. So I come in here, then choose not table 2, after table 2 now colon, and then I say member details. Hope this is followable. Member details. Okay, we do once more. Let's do for another one. Select the table icon, the selection icon, right click it, choose insert caption, colon, the label is okay, table whatever. You can see the computer generates the numbers automatically. In case even you go to the previous pages and insert another table plus a respective caption, the computer will keep track. So it's not you to remember this was table 2, table 5, and so on. No, it's Microsoft Word to keep track of the serialization of the different tables that you are creating. Okay, so this is share contribution. That's the caption. Share contribution. etc. You continue like that, checking the figures, checking the tables, and so on. I believe this must be under input design. So what this person did, this one is manually typed. It's not inserted. So I'm going to clear it. And then at the bottom of this figure, which I am selecting, I'm going to right click again the figure boundaries, and then I choose format, not format, but insert caption. It's a figure, so I change from table to figure. The Microsoft Word generates figure 2, so I add a colon and then say member details design, etc. For figures, you continue like that as well. You continue labeling them. Let's do it once more. So I'm timing the border of this image that this person inserted here, and then I choose, it's not appearing, insert caption. Yes, there it is. It's a figure. So what it is about, share contributions, design, the signal, share contributions design. I continue like that throughout my write-up. Then I simply now have to go to the preliminary pages once more. Oh, there was a table that this person had inserted. But I want to do it for myself. Remember I said I had just opened a write-up at random, and I wanted us to note some of the things that you are supposed to do and have them easily done. instead of struggling. Like all these, you see the things that I am seeing in this one, in this table of contents. She formatted something and called it fig. So these are typed items and they will not be consistent. You'll notice that if she would the student would insert something between fig 15 and fig 16, then it would mean that the person should then come to this list and then try to adjust these headings again, or go to them adjusting the headings again. So we don't do that, but instead we tell the computer to generate for us the correct captions. So I'm going to insert a table of figures here. Table of figures. Figures and tables. Let it come together. Table of figures and tables. And I may have a page break before acknowledgement. I go to layout, have a page break, an ordinary page break, not a section break, so that I come back into the blank page, which has got just a heading. Then where do I go now for the table of figures? At the references. At the references, we have got insert table of figures. Insert table of figures. I may want to first show the tables that I have. So caption label is what will make the Microsoft Word generate for me either a table of tables or a table of figures. I normally like a scenario where we have combined them. So I start with the table of tables. So caption label, table, and then I say okay. So those are the items which I was able to format as tables. I gave 3 illustrations, which I believe you can remember that. Then I go back again to references, insert table of figures, just below where the cursor, just where the cursor has dropped at. I go straight again to insert table of figures once more, and then this time caption label to be figure. The caption label to be figure. So everything that was formatted, you'll notice it will appear. So there were some other items which I guess that the student was able to format there below. But for me, I was able to do figure 1, figure 2, figure 3 for the illustration. However, there were some others which were done. Okay. So does this not answer the question that we have got a table of figures and a table of tables? So all the tables will be appearing clustered or appearing around here in one group, and then the figures will appear as a subsequent group. So those were the issues that I felt like there was need for us to address. However, I had also mentioned about the appearance of a header or a footer on page 1. Sorry for that. I forgot to keep charging my gadget here. It's desiring to have power. How do you generate? How do you eliminate a page number or a header from your cover page? Quite easy. What I'll do is first get into the cover page, then where it is ending at, the last entry that has been entered into this title page or the cover page is this portion, right? So I want to first remove whatever break has been inserted between this page to the next. So I'm going to pull up the table of contents by pressing delete, 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 so that I get it connected to page 1. It's now connected to page 1. And then I remember to insert a section break. It's not under insert for this version 2016. It's always under layout. Under layout, I insert another section break. I go to breaks, and then I choose section break to take me to the next page. So I've got a section break dividing the cover page and the preliminary pages. So what I'll do is going to the preliminary pages and I double click the header which is appearing there on the preliminary pages, that is the pages which appear after page 1, the cover page, and then I disable link to previous option. I am under header and footer tools, then link to previous, I disable that option. All right, then I go to the footer of the first preliminary page. I can just switch to footer. I switch to footer, and then I also don't link to previous. So when I delink them, when I do not link to previous, now it means I can go straight to the cover page, and then I remove that header. I remove that header. I remove it, and then I go to the footer. Likewise, go to footer, I'm in the cover page, and I remove it likewise as well. So you notice on page 1 we have no header, we have no footer now. On page 2, because it's not linked to the cover page format, I got the header, and I likewise have got the footer that we had added there. So guys, that's all that I wanted to cover in this video. We have covered how to insert a table of contents, table of figures, table of tables, inserting section breaks so that we are able to format page numbers, so that we are able to add headers where we need them, footers where we need them. If you needed again to have a special header for chapter 1, a special header for chapter 2, it's all about section breaks. They will allow you to add headers uniquely for different sections. Otherwise, thank you very much for tuning in. In case you have not subscribed to our channel, remember to do so right away. Hit the subscribe button down there. Don't forget to like also this video and tell the others about this channel. God bless you. Stay safe and blessed. Thank you.